Hi folks, welcome to Foundations 201. My name is Dr. Tyler Chamberlain. I'll be your professor for this course. We won't ever meet in person, but you'll see a little video like this from me each week. What I want to do in this video is just give you a quick introduction to the purpose of the course, the way I've designed it, and then what you'll have to do every week. We won't get into much content for this video. This is just simply to give you a sense of what this course will look like and what you'll be doing for the next 6 weeks. So the purpose of this course, let me start there. This is, as you know, the third in the Foundations series of courses that Trinity has, 101, 102, and now 201. And the aim of all of these courses is to introduce you to the Christian liberal arts, which includes things like interdisciplinary thinking, and spending time reflecting on important human questions. And I think that this is really what should be at the heart of a good education. Not simply learning skills that you can take with you into your career, although that's important, but also really thinking about what it means to be human, getting some experience, reading some important sources on these questions. That is what's important, and that's why Trinity has required these foundations courses for all majors, whether you're a philosophy or an English major, or a nursing student, or whatever program you're in. That is why Trinity programs have really been designed around these foundations liberal arts courses as kind of the core of what it means to have a Trinity degree. And central to a Christian liberal arts reflection, or liberal arts education rather, is reflection on important questions concerning the meaning of life, and moreover, careful reading of texts that address these questions. And this is really what this Foundations 201 course is about. You can almost think of this as the capstone Foundations course. This is where we will be engaging in some central liberal arts practices to kind of give you a sense of what a liberal arts education is really supposed to be about. So the big question that this course is centered around is, what is a good life? And the method, if you want to use that term, the method that we will use to think about that in this course is, we have 6 weeks. I've given you 6 possible answers to the question of what the good life consists in, or what kinds of things contribute to the good life. So if you look at the syllabus, you'll see it. The weekly topics are this format. Is the good life found in wealth? Is the good life found in hospitality? Is the good life found in power? So I've given you 6 possible answers, and we'll think through each of these possible answers by way of careful reading of texts that present these answers. So for wealth, you'll see there's 2 readings. Both talk about the notion of wealth and how wealth relates to the good life. And then for power, there's two readings about power that help us think about how power and influence may or may not help us live a good life. Okay? So at this point, I will say this is a reading course. The learning in this course will occur by way of your slow, careful, and maybe even repeated reading of these texts. The purpose of the assignments, even, is simply to measure how carefully you have read the required materials. Okay? So I want you to think about, as you plan out your week, as you think about the time you'll be spending on this course, I think it will not be very helpful for you to look at the list of assignments and say, okay, well, I need to complete these assignments, so what's the quickest way to complete those assignments? And then do that. I don't think that's going to be very helpful. If you begin from the assignments and work backwards to the reading, you probably will not be giving yourself enough time to do the reading as carefully as you need to. What I think will be helpful for you is that if you begin from the reading and say, okay, what do I need to read this week? Here's the 2 chapters that I need to read this week. Read those. Take as much time as you need. Read that very carefully. Underline, write notes to yourself. Maybe read it again. Once you really feel like you've understood the readings as well as you possibly can, then turn to the assignments. If you go about the course in that way, I think you will have better success. I think you'll learn more, and I think you'll do quite a bit better on the assignments themselves. So that was a bit of a kind of parenthetical point that I inserted there, but I think that's very important, and I will come back to that. So one more point that I might even make right now. The value of this course is not necessarily even the content that you will learn, the content of the readings. That's important, and I've chosen that very carefully, but I would even go one step further. I would say, if there's one thing that I want every one of you to get out of this course, it is I want you to gain experience in the practice of careful reading. Right? So if we think of this Foundations 201 course as your capstone, final liberal arts foundations course, what is the central or most important liberal arts practice that I think will be beneficial for every one of you to continue to hone and to build confidence in? It's careful reading of important texts, whether it's fiction or nonfiction. Careful reading is, I think, one of the most important liberal arts practices that we can pick up. So with that in mind, my goal for you at the end of these 6 weeks is that you will have done the following two things. First, that you will have gained some ability and confidence in reading difficult texts that work through meaningful questions. I would even say being able to do that is the mark of an educated person. And I don't think a true education really consists in simply learning job skills. That's important. You need a job, you need to pay rent or the mortgage, you need to eat. That's important. But what separates, I think, someone with a true liberal arts education from someone who doesn't is the ability to read and work through difficult texts and use them to think carefully and critically about important questions. That is what is truly important, and that's what this course will try to help you work through. The second thing that I hope you will have gained or accomplished through this course is I hope that you grow in your appreciation of the importance of these big questions. Part of being a human being, I would say a very important part of being a human being is having a mind, having reason, being able to think for yourself, and being curious about how best to live one's life. Right? So if all that you do is think about how to further your career and pay your bills, I truly think you're missing out on what makes human beings a unique species. And that's the ability to contemplate meaning, purpose, to know God, and to think about how best to live our lives. Okay, so you can even think of the liberal arts as we like to say, Trinity, equipping you for life. Equipping you for life as a full human being, not just a nurse or a teacher or an electrician or a firefighter or whatever other career you choose, but equipping you to live your life as a full human being. Okay? So that's some big picture stuff out of the way. It's very important, and I'll come back to these themes, but I wanted to give you a sense of how you can think about this course. So a few more practical points, and this is all in the syllabus, but I want to get it in this video as well. Every week there will be a rhythm, a set of things that you'll have to get into the rhythm of doing. First step each week, you'll want to read and watch all of required material. I will put a 5 to 10 minute mini lecture video on Moodle. I would encourage you to watch that and then read all of the required material, either one longer chapter or 2 shorter chapters or 2 short readings. It will be very important that the most time that you spend on this course is this reading, okay, every week. Once you have done all of the reading well enough that you don't really think you can understand the texts anymore, then I want you to complete both assignments. Information is on the syllabus. Complete both assignments, which again are based on the readings, before the end of the day on Friday of the week. And I've said it before, but I'll say it again. You will not succeed in this course if you do not read slowly and carefully. Okay, so the TA and I, we will meet and talk about the grading throughout the course. We will not give you a passing grade if you cannot demonstrate that you have read and understood the material. Right? So I'm saying this a lot, but it's really important that you pick up on this and you internalize this for the next 6 weeks. reading the material carefully and understanding it as well as you possibly can, that is what you will need to do to pass this course. Okay? We'll talk about this more, and I will try to give you a helpful mini lecture to introduce some of the themes, so you're not just on your own. I will be your guide throughout this course, but it really is a course where you will have to take responsibility for reading and understanding the material on your own, simply because the skill of close, careful reading is what I want you to get out of this course. Okay? The syllabus has more information on everything. For any questions about the course, look at the syllabus first. I tried to give as much detail there as I could. If you have questions about the course or the readings, if the syllabus doesn't answer the questions, please email me to set up a meeting. Or if you just want to email back and forth, that's okay too. But even though this is an asynchronous course, I do want to give you the chance to talk with me over Zoom or Microsoft Teams in person if you like, or in person, virtually, but at least face-to-face via a computer screen. So I think I'll leave it at that. Again, please leave time to read the material as carefully as you can. Please let me know if you have any questions. I will be here throughout the 6 weeks to offer support and guidance and anything that you need. And I hope you enjoy the course. I enjoy teaching this course. I enjoy this material. I hope at the end of these 6 weeks you have also developed an appreciation for this kind of material as well. Thanks.